Shut up and sit down.
Welcome once again to the Shite podcast show. Mark and Ken.
What's up?
Episode 189 of the Shite podcast show.
Yeah.
Getting through it.
Yeah. Getting fairly up there, alright.
Yeah, and do you know what? It does really feel like we've been at the 180s for about 2 decades.
Yeah, I was thinking that as well.
Usually I'd be complaining about this. It feels like we're stuck in the mud and we're just spinning our wheels. But I've never been so glad to be stuck in mud and spinning wheels. I hope we never ever leave the 180s, ever.
And the 80s are always better.
Yes, that is very much true. And do you know what, the noughties, let's just forget about them.
Yeah, let's forget about the 200s.
Yeah, exactly. The 2-0s aren't to be celebrated. We know we said we would, but who wants to be 200? I certainly don't.
80's far better.
Yeah, exactly. 180. That's when life is good.
Yeah, 1988. That's when the world was the best.
1988. Do you still think that?
Yeah, 80s was the best.
I am listening to a lot of 80s music actually. So
early 90s.
Early 90s.
Yeah, like I'd go from say 1982 to maybe 1995.
Yeah, 85 is probably like peak 80s. That's like 85 to maybe 90, 93, 94. It's
yeah,
that kind of 10, even 95. Let's say that 10-year spirit, produce like amazing albums.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And movies.
And movies. Yeah, that's true. A lot of good movies in there. Much like our show has stories this week.
That was terrible.
I think that was an amazing segue, actually. After I said that, I was really pleased with myself.
that was one of the worst ones.
We have a little bit of something, everybody. We have how to know if a person's the right fit for a job. One tech company CEO, or not CEO, he's like managing director in Australia, he thinks he's found out the perfect plan whether to prove whether or not a person's the right fit for his job, and will not hire them if they fail this one test. And not only that, the person is blacklisted. Try apply for a job here again as a janitor even, and you will not get a job.
That's mental.
Actually, now that I say janitor, there's probably a good reason why you wouldn't get a job as a janitor if you did fail this test, though, in fairness. But we'll be talking about that later on in the show. And remember last week we had your one who nearly died by peeing in the shower after she dyed her hair.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, now we have another story about why you should always pee in the shower. And this is according to science.
We like to give both sides of the argument.
Yeah, this is according to science why you should always pee in the shower. So there's a site called I Fucking Love Science. And since Facebook started to tackle people that swear, they have to now call themselves IFL Science. So this is from the IFL Science page on Facebook, and they wrote an article about why we should always pee in the shower. So yeah, let's get science reason why we should pee in the shower, because we gave our reason you could die if you pee in the shower, and now science is going to tell you why we should. There's a story about a Japanese man, and he was arrested for dating 35 women, and the reason why he was arrested was because he told them all different dates of birth. So he'd get presents on every single day. He just loves his birthday so much. So we'll be talking about that later on in the show as well. I've just have this down on our notes about Josh fight. Do you want to explain this without going too much into detail?
Yeah, just a bunch of lads named Josh had a fight.
And now we're going to see who's the best Josh out there.
Yeah.
Which Josh stands on the pile of other Joshes to now claim, basically to have the ownership of the name Josh.
Yeah, King Josh.
King Josh. Then our idiots of the week. We only really have one-ish idiot of the week, and it's a man. He thinks he has found the cure to hay fever. And maybe he is an idiot of the week, and maybe we don't have an idiot of the week, but I certainly think he's dumb. And when I tell you why I think he's dumb, I think you'll agree with me. But maybe you won't. And maybe you'll try this, and maybe you'll come back to me and say, Mark, take him off idiots of the week. I don't know how you can do this, but he's actually a legend. And he should be recognised as a legend because this has worked for me. So do you suffer with hay fever, Ken?
A little bit.
Yeah, I'll be the same. I'll be a little bit. Every now and again I sneeze if I'm near flowers, but like I don't get like some people get horrific. Like
I used to when I was younger. I used to have it really bad when I was a kid.
Yeah, I used to when I worked in like that Alone radio station. There used to be a guy who I think he was a tech guy. I don't know what he did, but and technical broke, we went to him. So he's the IT guy. And he suffered horrifically with like hay fever. It was so bad. And every now and again I come in with like stupid things that I heard off the internet, like, oh, you should just use Vaseline around your nose. And he'd be like, go the fuck away from me. Oh yeah, you should try it. Have you ever used Vaseline? And so it's like, or I heard this time if you do this, it'll work. And he's like, nothing works. So maybe this nettle thing would work. He was like, he's very much didn't listen to any of my bullshit when I offered him suggestions of how to cure himself of hay fever. But like, I thought they were good ideas.
Did any of them work?
I've never had hay fever to try, and anytime I tell anybody to put Vaseline up their nose, they generally don't listen to me.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't.
I've heard it before, and it's like, oh, that might be a way. It's kind of like, I think what happens is pollen goes up there and irritates your nose, and then it like causes like inflammation. But if there's a coating of like Vaseline, then it doesn't have the same impact. The Vaseline kind of like takes the pollen before it can interact with your nose. It gives it like a barrier, and that's the idea of it.
Yeah. The idea though of Vaseline kind of fucking puts me off.
Someone said the idea of Vaseline up my nose would irritate me more than the hay fever.
Yeah.
And I was like, fair enough. Yeah, so that's our show. And like we said, the Vaseline up the nose isn't Idiots of the Week worthy. Or maybe it is. But it's not what we're going to be talking about hay fever. We're going to be talking for a different reason. But we must get into talking about a guy who he thinks he has the perfect way of sorting out who gets a job and who doesn't in his business. His name is Terence Innes. He's the MD of Exero Australia, and they're an IT company. I don't know. Have you ever like had to interview anybody? Do you have any tricks about interviewing anybody?
Yeah, I've interviewed people before.
And what kind of traits do you look out for when you like are hiring or firing a person?
See, we're kind of like, it's not really too bad with us because you have a sheet. So you've got a sheet with like the questions on it that you have to ask somebody, and you've got a sheet with the answers that you need people to give.
Yeah.
So you just kind of like look for the person who's given the most answers or closest to the answers that you've been looking for. Have
you ever done this? Have you ever ripped up that sheet, chew up in the air and gone, do you know what? I'm going to talk to you as a person. And
I've only ever done it as like the second person. Like I've never like actually been asking the questions. I've only done it as the second person in the room.
Oh, the listener. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just listening for the answers and goes, tick.
Yeah.
That's
right. Needed.
Yeah. No, like generally we have a system where a person gets put out in trial and then they're forgotten about. And then eventually have a job until until people complain about them so much that they have to be let go. And sometimes we don't even let them go after that. So like it's very easy enough to get a job where I work. So like it's
I don't really
grand. Like yeah, exactly. I don't think our company. If you're really bad at interviews, find a company that doesn't listen to their staff, and you'll get a job, even if you're horrific at your job. It's kind of good.
Yeah, I 100% don't really listen to complaints unless it's something really serious.
Yeah. Even then.
Like usually, I don't like if somebody says he was rude to me. I don't care.
He sexually assaulted me. I don't care.
Yeah, like you'd want to have done something pretty bad for me to actually give a fuck.
Yeah, well, this guy, this boss, Terrent, he doesn't actually. It's quite mild what he have done, and I said like you'll be blacklisted. You won't get a job as a janitor. And then I said, well, there's probably a good reason. And okay, so basically,
Was he going for a job as a janitor?
No, it's an IT business. So, like, it isn't so much what you say in the interview to him. So, like, when you come in, when have you ever had to like interview for a job or anything?
Yeah, the job I have.
Okay. So you've had to, but you know that feeling where like you're trying to put your best foot forward. You don't know like how you'll come across. And you hope you don't come across like as an idiot or whatever. And you're quite nervous about this. You don't say the wrong thing. For him, it isn't so much what you say as what you do in the interview that like it will determine whether or not you get a job. And he has this little test. So the test is this. During the interview, he'll take you like on a bit of a tour around the place and be chatting to you. Eventually, you'll end up in the kitchen and you'll somehow walk away with a drink. And then he'll bring you back to the interview room. If you don't offer to take the cup out with you and like bring it back to the kitchen, you will not get the job.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Yeah, see, like I don't know, definitely don't think I would get the job there.
Like, I don't think that's reason enough to not give somebody a job, but I think it is reason enough to think this guy's an asshole.
Well, do you know what I was thinking? This if it was a disposable cup, 100% I'd take it away with me and I'd put it in the bin. I wouldn't leave. I couldn't.
If it's like a ceramic mug.
Yeah, but like by the looks of this is like the kind of cup you're getting is like a ceramic cup. Like it's one that like, and what he's looking for is you to bring it to the kitchen, clean it, and put it away. And like I think in that scenario, I'd definitely leave it on the table.
Yeah, or just bring it back and put it in the sink.
Yeah, exactly. But he said like he wants you to wash it and put it away, because like if I was going for an interview, like I wouldn't be like, okay, cool, and I'd take up the cup, because in my head I'd be like, this guy 100% believes that I'm trying to take this mug and I'm going to put this into my bag and walk out the door. He does not think that I'm going to be cleaning this. Like he's like if I was interviewing someone, they picked up a mug, it's like, oh, you can leave that there. I'll make sure that you'll never get a job here for trying to steal this mug.
There was a guy. We had a guy looking to transfer between branches.
Yeah,
and obviously he has to get an interview before he comes to the new store. So he came to us for an interview. My manager was like, "Right, what do you think of this guy?" After he left, obviously, he's like, "What do you think of this guy?" I was like,
he's in the room. What do you think of this guy? He's
like,
an asshole.
I was like, he seems like a bit of a fucking asshole, because he comes in,
yeah,
and he's got an unlit cigarette in his mouth, and he has a can of Red Bull.
Yeah,
and during the whole interview, he's fiddling with this cigarette and drinking this can of Red Bull. And then we were just kind of like, yeah, like we rang him then later. I was like, yeah, like fuck off, like stay where you are.
Yeah.
And he still showed up for work.
Yeah, he still showed up.
Like,
and
he showed up, and like we had to go out to him and be like, like, fuck off.
Yeah, you don't actually work here.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
He was like, oh, you're assholes. And we're like, what? How the fuck are we being assholes? You're the fucking asshole that came to an interview with a cigarette in your mouth.
Yeah. And did the other branch be like, what? Why did you employ that person?
My boss and his boss are good friends. Like, so he rang him afterwards and he was like, this lad's a donkey. And your man was like, he's actually really, really good at his job. And he's like, well, he comes across the donkey. And he asked him, what did he do? And he told him, like, and he's like, oh, fuck's sake. He went back then to like where he works, and he got a bollocking over it. He's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, like there's also another reason why I probably wouldn't get this job. Like if I like had a porcelain cup or any sort of cup that didn't have a lid on it, like, and I had to,
you would spill it.
I would have to walk to the office. Yeah, your man is like going to see that like I had half a cup left and like I've just spilled it all over his floor. That there's no way in hell that I could get a job there. It's like, yeah, I'm really good at like IT, but in terms of walking with hot liquids, something awful at. I mean, yeah, but the reason why, like he said, basically, is about the attitude and culture within the workplace. It's kind of what you said with your man who walked in there with the cigarette and drinking a can of Red Bull and was fiddling with the Red Bull. It's just like, this person's going to be a lazy bollocks, going to be really hard to work at. And I think any job is looking out for people who are going to be lazy bollocks. Because, like, if someone doesn't do their job, someone else has to do their job for them, or has to pick up, or has to be accountable for why the job wasn't done. And that happens.
Yeah, it makes it harder on everyone else.
Yeah, exactly. And that happens no matter if you're in an IT company or if you're working in a shop. Everyone is under the same situation. So people don't generally work with assholes. And in an interview, you're looking out for assholes. Now, necessarily, what he says, you're not looking out for an asshole. Like, if you have been called to an interview with this company, you're probably qualified. You probably can do the job. But what he wants is like someone that isn't going to leave a mess everywhere he goes. And he said the kitchen is always clean in this place. So he believes that it works because of that. It's because people are tidy and they respect the environment that they're in. And he says that kind of culture is what he's cultivated by doing the coffee cup test.
Imagine if people found that out. Like
Well, it's like on the internet. So now...
Is he named in it?
Yeah, his name is John Innans, and he's a MD of Exero, Australia. So he is named it. And the company.
If you went for an interview with that company, and now you're like, fucking dick.
Yeah, exactly. Like, how the fuck did I know? If I had a takeaway cup, I would have brought it with me. Like, I imagine, like I said, like, because I'd be afraid someone would say, like, why are you taking the cup? Like. Or maybe he's waiting for people to offer, well, will I bring this back to the kitchen for you? And that kind of thing. But I don't know. I definitely wouldn't do it. That would pass me. I definitely failed that test.
I probably wouldn't have taken a drink.
Yeah. Well, yeah, oh no, I'm grand. Yeah, that's another thing. Don't take drinks.
Like, I'm fussy that way. Like, this is going to make me sound like a fucking asshole now. I don't particularly ever use anything in the canteen and work because I don't trust the other people to have cleaned stuff properly, and I couldn't be arsed cleaning it myself.
Yeah, see, well, I guess this is what he's getting at. So he's looking out for people who don't clean stuff properly.
Like, we have a dishwasher people won't put fucking shit into.
Oh yeah, I remember being at one place, and just by the notes left around the like kitchen, I was like, I do not want to work here full time. It was like, if you want milk, bring it yourself. And this is like all over it. And then there's like another note about the dishwasher, and there's like people had their names on absolutely everything. And you're like, oh, it's just like, because you didn't know like the for different departments, different companies would work in this one place, so you didn't know like which, like the company that you're working with, like, oh, is this theirs or is this not theirs? So sometimes it wouldn't be marked, it was just left there. So I used to think if it's not marked, it's anybody's that can have, because they'd go, oh, go inside and make yourself a cup of tea. I was like, oh, cool, I'll do that. So the entire time I was there, I would just drink my tea black because it's like I don't know. Like, sometimes am I allowed to take the milk or am I not allowed to take the milk? It's like
the worst note I ever had to put in the canteen was, please do not microwave fish.
Yeah, like that's a sackable offense though. I do feel bad because sometimes I will bring eggs, and I work in a van. It's a very closed environment, so like I do feel bad when I bring eggs for lunch. And I sometimes brought it for once I brought it for most of the week. I hated the eggs most of the week.
That's what I would do in an interview. I'd ask people, what do you eat for your lunch?
Most people would say chicken roll or something like that.
I'd just be like, spicy or normal?
Oi, what's your, okay.
What does be on your chicken roll?
I would say plain. I used to get plain chicken.
And what else would be on it?
Like peppers, sometimes stuffing.
Okay, sorry, you're not getting the job.
What? Fuck you, I don't want your job. And that's how Mark deals with rejection. Yeah, like one thing that would piss me off is like in the job, like we all give people gloves, and if I see someone put their gloves up on the dash, that's on first day. That's also you're not off to a great start there. Because
what's wrong with that?
Because like dash is also where people put their food, especially if someone brought sandwiches and someone put their and then it also dirties the window on the inside, it leaves like muck stains. So your window looks knackered. It looks just muck all over your window. And remember, you're a cleaning company, so you're going in there with a dirty window. Isn't giving a great impression to the company that you're going in to wash, and then you look into the van and it's a fucking state. And like everywhere is mucky and everywhere is dirty, and it's like
it's got Mark's fucking soup spilt all over the fucking bread.
Has stuffing all over it. Has like coffee stains, and you're like, oh yeah, we're the crew that's going to clean your vehicles. And it's like people are like, no. people would say every now and again you'd have someone that say to you like, oh, did you ever? I keep the van pretty clean, but like. Well, I've been in vans, so like other people's vans, and people have said it to them, like, do you not clean your van yourself? But, like, it's being a state, so it leaves a bad impression. So that's
I hate being handed paperwork to sign or to look over. That's like fucking either stained with coffee, or it's got like some sort of fucking gunk sticking two sheets together.
Yeah, I'm so glad. I was so glad when we got rid of paperwork. Oh my god, life is so much better that it's now on a phone. Like reading people's all it is like a tick. It's always like a line, and some people fuck that up. One person put a tick backwards.
Oh,
do you know how much that pissed me off? I don't say stuff to people. But I said it to him, I was like, what is this? And they're like, oh, it's a tick. And I was like, no, it's not a tick. First of all, the line's going towards you and the tick's on the opposite side. The curve is on the opposite side. It's like, put a line.
I work with one woman that does that.
Oh my god. Who are you? Why are you doing this? Have no one pointed out that you're wrong?
And like half of my paperwork is also like on a little tablet thing. And because it's on the tablet, I don't bother doing it.
Oh, you just leave it?
Yeah, unless somebody physically comes up to me with stuff and says, you need to sign this or you need to look at this, then I'm like, nah, everything's fine. I don't have to worry about anything.
Yeah, well, we kind of have to fill it out. Be like, we didn't fill it out, we wouldn't get paid. like
there's one girl that works in the office and work, and she's really good. She's always like, you need to look at this shit.
Yeah, yeah, you need to really up your game.
You need to look at this. Somebody's giving out here. I need to send an email back about this. What's going on?
I'll be like, just have a fuck off.
That's usually the answer.
We're such good employees.
I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah, exactly. That is somebody else's problem, and we should move on because we can't before we get ourselves both fired. And we should move on to something that we were talking about a few weeks ago, and that's peeing in the shower. We both came to the agreement that it is quite disgusting.
Yeah,
but now I fucking love science is saying that we should do it to save the planet.
I thought you were going to say I fucking love doing it.
Yeah, I tried it one day, and do you know what? This fits my personality. I love peeing in the shower, and I don't care who hears about it. Like for me, like I'm the only one who uses my shower, so like it wouldn't be that bad of a thing now. But I don't know how I'd feel if I was in a shower where there was few people using a shower and they were all peeing in the shower. I wouldn't feel comfortable having a shower there. I don't know about you.
It's going to depend on who they are.
Anybody, like let's say you were renting a house and there's 5 people in the house, or even if you're living at home and there's 5 people in your house, and there was one shower that you all use, and you all came to the agreement, let's all just pee in the shower.
But I suppose you're never going to know if somebody pees in the shower.
That is the beauty of the crime, is unless someone catches it in the act,
nobody's going to know.
Nobody's going to know. And it's...
Wonder do people pee in public showers?
100% they pee in public showers. Yeah.
Like the showers in the gym and stuff.
Yeah, I imagine they're more peed in. But I also imagine there's a cleaning company that will clean the showers as well.
It's like, I remember not long after we started in the new gym, there was two guys slagging a guy for wearing flip-flops into the fucking shower, and he was like, man, you don't know who's been pissing in here.
Yeah, that is true. And we all probably look disgusting for not showering into gyms. We came from a gym that didn't have a shower, so like... They judge you a lot harder in other places. Like in other countries, there's like it's a culture to shower, like have a shower in a gym. You're kind of looked down on if you don't do it.
Like it kind of should be.
I can understand it, but my logic about not showering in a gym is like, first of all, there's a queue. Second of all, like in these gyms, I'd be quicker walking back to the apartment or walking back to the place and showering at the house. Like having a quick shower, and then like I'm fine. And then like I like once you shower, and like all the clothes that day are generally like are going in the wash anyway. They're not like, even the clothes I'm wearing are either quite loose because it's usually hotter country. So I'm wearing like a basketball top and shorts. Not like, sometimes I feel knacker wearing jeans to the gym and then leaving. Like, because then the jeans stick to you and you just feel disgusting. Like,
yeah, like, I try to wear tracksuit bottoms to the gym as much as possible.
Yeah, I don't have tracksuit bottoms, so yeah, it's really invest.
I didn't have tracksuit bottoms until I start training.
Oh, well, see, there you go. So like they put it like this. They said you should pee in the shower, and it's not just to feel deliberated or like a rebel or get an adrenaline rush. You may or not.
Adrenaline? Who the fuck gets an adrenaline rush from pissing in the shower?
According to the wonderful people on IFL Science, apparently get adrenaline rush from peeing in the shower, and they said by doing so, you're also potentially saving the world. It kind of just boils down to, like, the reason why you should pee in the shower is because you save a bit of water. Well, there's a lot of water by peeing in the shower instead of into the toilet. And this all goes down to, like, generally it's quite wasteful peeing in the toilet because you don't need that much water to clear away piss. And generally it's like, it's not that contaminating. Like, it just won't stink up the house unless it's left lingering there.
So basically what it boils down to is, if it's yellow, let it mellow, but if it's brown, flush it down.
I can't have like, the idea that like someone's piss might rebound after I shit into it and go up my asshole. I can't live in that world, Ken.
That's
like,
liberating.
That's not liberating to me. Like, if that's a rule in someone's house, I will not take a shit in their toilet. Because I'm not having somebody's piss go up my asshole.
That's what toilet roll is for.
Yeah, I understand.
Cover that. If there's piss already there, cover that piss with toilet roll.
I imagine that's not also great. Just like wasting toilet paper.
It probably is, but like I fuck that. Like, because I'm not going to flush the toilet. Because if you flush the toilet, it won't flush the second time. Yeah,
that is true. And then you're trying and you're just wasting more water.
Yeah, so I'm going to fucking cover that shit with toilet roll.
They say, like, every flush, it's about 6 litres of water that you use in every flush. It seems a lot. And the average adult will pee about 7 times in 24 hours.
That all?
Yeah, as I said, average person. So basically, you'll use 42 litres of water on just piss water. But, like, they're not, like, okay, they're not, so, like, if you're, I guess, the person who has the occasional piss outdoors, you're really saving the planet. You should be applauded. You're not a dirty knacker at all.
Well, it depends on what you're pissing on.
And once it's, like, not, like, some endangered animal, I'm sure you're fine.
Like sometimes piss can kill some types of like vegetation.
Piss, yeah, well, piss into a corner. There's no vegetation and no one can see it, Grant. But yeah, like they said like that's 42 liters of water. Now, like first of all, I kind of think lads, well, we're slightly less wasteful with our peeing. Because sometimes we'll pee into a urinal. I know that randomly comes on, but it isn't as much water as used, I imagine. And then
or sometimes just that big trough thing that like there's no fucking water going into.
And sometimes there's like also when you shit, you take a piss. So like sometimes you're getting a 2-for-1.
A twofer.
A 2-for-1. So yeah, like how many of those times are you just solely pissing?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like.
But anyway, what they said that this boils down to: a person will use 15,330 liters a year on toilet water just by clearing away their piss. And they said if they did it by like the like population of the US, they all piss this many times, it would be into the trillion liters kind of range. Multiple trillion liters of water is used. But if you just pee 6 times and once into the toilet or once into the shower, you'll save 2,190 liters of water on basically flushing toilet, because you'll save every time you do it. You save like 6 liters.
What if you decide to waste that water doing something else?
Like what?
I don't know. I'm going to start pissing in the toilet and just throwing water out the window.
Piss into the shower.
Piss in the shower and just throw the water out the window.
Yeah, have a weekly water fight with your neighbors.
Yeah, just fire it out the window.
Yeah, so like it's I don't know. They also said that the reason this boils down to is like human beings are so wasteful with water, and not all of it is actually recycled as they think. And we talked about last week Ireland being so bad, like half the water around Dublin is lost through like Viking waterways that like they don't know where it leads to.
Like, there is a lot of water wasted, but like it falls from the sky.
Yeah, I think Ireland. Okay, not everyone lives in California where it rains every like 2 days. Like only if Ireland gets several months like rainfall, which very rarely happens.
Like I actually don't understand why the water that goes into your toilet in this country is drinkable.
Well, it's the mains of the like.
Yeah, like why not like start some sort of a fucking system that collects rainwater that goes to your toilet.
Well, we don't really need it. Like very rarely do you get water shortages in Ireland.
Yeah, but it's not down to the water shortages. Like, people are giving out about like the introduction of like trying to introduce water charges and stuff because how expensive it is to like make water drinkable. So let's make only the literal water that you actually need to drink drinkable.
Yeah. Like
the water that you wash your car with. Why the fuck does that have to be drinkable?
Yeah, well, I imagine if you're drinking water in premises, it wouldn't be the cleanest water in the world. I know a lot of it is drinking water, but and like water that like comes out of your shower, like it stays in a tank. Your water that heats up your water in your immersion or into wherever your water is stored. And that stays in the attic.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like why when
that's not the cleanest water to be drinking.
Like, when it enters your house, it's drinkable. Why? Yeah. It doesn't need to be.
I know what you're saying. It's like there's so many like ways that could go wrong, and then you're having contaminated water going into people's taps. Like, I just think it's better to have everything drinkable because like the country is not that well engineered, and we're not in this situation where we need to conserve water overly. You probably have to do it as Ireland's climate like changes, but like come on, it rains 330 days of the year.
We had to conserve water there a few years ago.
That's because it stopped raining for like a fucking few months. Like we had 3 months where it just didn't rain.
Yeah, and the fucking water reservoir fucking dried up because every cunt is using water for fucking every sort of fucking thing.
Well, it's because Lidl decided during a drought decided to have like 100-liter swimming pool on sale.
As you do.
And a power washer, and then the Pope decided to come, and they had to clean everything to get it ready for the Pope.
Oh yeah, remember that fucker?
Like,
He only came,
like
he
that
only
was a perfect storm of like shit things that happen that caused that.
perfect storm of shit things that happened. The Pope came.
And Little decided it was a good idea to have swimming pools,
swimming pool.
and they're like suggesting to like Irish people to like rat your neighbours out. If you see your neighbours watering your plants, like ratting them.
Oh yeah, you could get €100 for that.
Oh yeah, my mom used to like go out in the dark to water her plants. She used to cover her night to make sure daffodils didn't die.
Yeah, they were paying people like €100 to rat out your neighbors.
Yeah, to rat out your neighbours. So they're terrified that like someone would see her like
the hose pipe ban. That's what it's called.
And then you're saying if they see them with a swimming pool, like call the Gardaí.
Yeah, call the cars over a swimming pool.
It was a stupid idea for Little to like release a swimming pool during a drought. You might have said, "Oh, let's."
Well, in fairness, they probably planned that like fucking months before.
Yeah, exactly. That wasn't like. But you imagine like someone in operation should have came along and gone, maybe we don't do the swimming pool just yet.
Let's hold off on this.
Yeah, let's hold off on this like 100-liter swimming pool. I remember like your man would be like, I was talking to a guy before, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I go in those fucking swimming pools." Like, man, Jesus, like. I was there feeling it for hours and the thing wouldn't fucking fill. It was like 5 or 6 hours and the thing wasn't still full. I was like, do you realise we're in a drought right now?
Yeah, don't be telling people that.
Yeah, it's like, it was fucking crazy. Anyway, we should move on from hosepipe bans to Japanese and birthdays. It's a weird combination, I know, but I'll explain it and you'll understand after a while. So there's a Japanese man, and he really likes birthdays. How do you feel about birthdays?
Fucking not arsed them.
I could take it or leave birthdays. I don't like a whole lot of attention, like directed at me. I get very uncomfortable. My ears start to flare up, feeling really warm, and like it's just not a great experience when people give me too much attention. Says the guy with a podcast.
When I turned 30, my mom was like, "We need to have like a fucking party," and I was like, "No, let's not have a party. If you have a party, I'm just going to fucking leave." And she had a mini party. Like it was just kind of like my parents, my sister, Aideen, my uncles, and my granny. And I was like, oh, "Fuck this, bye."
Yeah. So like, I have a birthday that like. A year exactly to the day, my sister's birthday. Me and my sister have the same birthday a year apart, and she's like, "All right, this year is your 30th." This is obviously back in November, so like it's basically just your birthday this year. I'm like, I don't want that. She's like, no, you're going to get all the attention because it's your 30th, and we kind of do this every time it's big birthday. Someone takes a step back, and I'm like, I want the attention deflected. I want to I don't want all the attention. I'd rather have this. She goes, no, because next year it's my 30th and it's all about me and you won't have a birthday. So you take this birthday and you forget about you ever turning 31 because you don't turn 31. You go from 30, 2 years later, you're 32. It's like, fair enough. So then this year I had all the attention on me and I was like, I was kind of glad that it was COVID. Because I at least then I didn't have to do a big do. Because I just don't like it. I just don't like attention. I'm too much attention.
Well, yeah, I'm the same. Like I just fucking I don't like people making a fucking fuss.
Well, this one a man called Tashi. He has a surname, but it's not pronounceable by man. And he's 39, and like I said, he loves birthdays. And like he loves it so much that he started dating 35 women, so he could get 35 different birthday presents. But so they don't all clash, and he has to do something with them all at once. Gave them different dates of births and spread them out over the year, so that he get multiple birthdays on multiple days of the year.
Like, what way did he? Like, how did he decide to spread them out, and how did he decide which days he was picking and which days he wasn't? How does he remember them all?
Do you know what? Just having 35 girlfriends takes a lot. Like, you're gonna have to write down like what's going on in each of these girls' lives, because there's no way you can categorically.
They also have 35 birthdays.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and like I imagine that they're all fairly short relationships. Like, you're not like, I generally wouldn't think you'd get someone like and too expensive. Like, if you just start dating.
How does Valentine's Day work for that?
I don't know. Like, I met a girl, and the second date was her birthday, and I was like, oh, what? I got her a Yankee candle. It cost me €3. Like,
oh, Yankee candle, Mark. That's cringy.
I was buying a bottle of wine, and I said, oh, I should probably get her something to bring to the house. Can't show up empty-handed. And it's like, there's a multiple pack of cans of Coke, and there's Yankee candles on sale.
Multiple pack of Coke.
And so I was like, I get the Yankee candles. It was in arm's reach. So I got the Yankee candles, and I was like, there you go. It's like, here's a Yankee candle. Happy birthday.
Was she happy with it?
Yeah, she said she was happy with it. Yeah. But like if you just start seeing someone, you're not going to go all out for a present. Like, I probably should got her a card. Anyway, I just think the idea of like having 35 girlfriends would be more of a pain in the hole than like the presents that you're going to get for your birthdays.
Yeah, it's definitely more effort than it's fucking work. Like, one is too much.
Yeah, exactly. Like, one's a lot of work, and just remember what they say. It's like, it's a full-time job. Like, you want to employ someone just to take notes of it. Anyway, he received a total presents of cards and other kind of material that amounted to about 100,000 yen, or €760, or if you're in England, £668. I don't know what the dollar equivalent is. Google it.
Ask Google it.
Hey Google, what is? Oh, it's not plugged in. I'm not doing that. Including one of the gifts that he got was a €230 suit. Like, once again, very rare, very kind of new relationship, and someone got him. Oh, I know, I'll get him a suit.
Yeah,
I kind of blame you on that.
Like that's why a suit? Did he ask for a suit?
Well, it probably makes sense when you get, like, he's what his job was, and probably how he got away with it was he's a salesman, and he sells these water shower heads, these hydrogen water shower heads. So he'd be traveling around a lot, and that's probably how a good cover story why he wasn't around so much, or why he couldn't spend the weekend with them, or why he was missing, or why maybe a person was texting him late at night, was because, like, their client.
Why he was getting naked selfies.
Yeah, but the women, he kind of got found out, and the women formed a victims association, which is very organized. I was very impressed by that, and then went to the police. I imagine if that happened over here, it would be just a lot more violent. Not as organized.
Yeah.
I wouldn't imagine that the lovely women of Ireland would form an association. More of a mob, I'd imagine.
I don't think they would have went to the guards either.
Or found his body. But anyway, they were, like I said, very organized, formed an association, and went to the police, and now are suing him. And yeah, like you said, he got arrested for fraud, because he frauded people out gifts. Yeah, like one of the women's, like, so in one of the cases, he went on a date. It was his first date, and he kissed her, and she stopped and said, "This is not to go any further unless you are going to marry me." So, like, obviously, yeah, exactly. Like, imagine that's a lot of pressure you're putting on a first date. And so he's like, unless you're going to marry me, like, I don't want to go further. And obviously, he said, "Of course, I'll marry you." It's a kind of like, which kind of remind me of like Team America. It's like, where he said, she's like, "Promise me you'll never die," and he's like, "Oh, I can't really do that, or I'll never have sex with you. I will never die." It's kind of like, kind of reminded me of that. I was like, I could kind of see where he was coming from. Why he was like, yes, of course I'm going to marry you. But yeah, so like he got found out, and like he's possibly facing prison time over lying about his birthday.
Jesus, that's a bit rough.
Yeah, it is. Have you ever wanted to be the best at anything? Like, I want to be the best insert thing.
Nothing that I can really think of off the top of my head.
All right. Like, imagine being the best Ken is going to be quite hard because like there's already quite famous Ken. Like that's an inanimate object that's always going to be known. Like it's only known by the one name, like Ken. So that's you'll never be like Beyonce, just known for one name, because that's already taken by a toy.
I am the best Ken though.
How?
I just am.
Well, Ken, the Ken doll, is like.
Yeah, I'm better than him.
I don't know. He's more famous.
Like, I actually have a penis.
Penises aren't all that matters, Ken.
That's what you think.
Having a non-aging face and a plastic arm that doesn't go soft.
Yeah, I could do that.
My arm doesn't go soft. Anyway, we're going to move on because there's this guy called Josh, and he wants to be the best Josh, and he's basically invited any other person called Josh and has the same surname of him to a fight.
Yeah, it started. So his name is Josh Swain, and in April 2020, he sent a message to anybody he could find on Facebook with the same name. He basically just said, "You're probably wondering why I've gathered you all here," and then some guy, one of the Joshes, said, "Because we all share the same names." And then another Josh left the group. And then then original Josh said, "Precisely, 24th of April 2021, 12 p.m. Meet at these coordinates." Gave coordinates. We fight. Whoever wins gets to keep the name. Everybody else has to change their name. You have a year to prepare. Good luck. But he forgot about it.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, he forgot about it because he just did it as a joke. Like, it was just a piss take.
Yeah.
And he forgot about it until it started being posted all over social media as it got closer and closer to the 24th. So he decided, fuck it, let's
kind of know the feeling. about claiming that there'll be a big event on a certain day or a certain time or a certain point,
a certain number,
and not coming through with it. I kind of know how he feels, Ken.
Really, Mark?
Yeah.
So he contacted the group again. He looked up the coordinates, and the coordinates ended up being a farmer's field in Nebraska. Because he just pulled the coordinates out of his hole. Like, he just made them up.
Like, that was a smart move on his part.
Yeah, so he contacted the farmer, and the farmer was like, "No, you can't do this in my field, but I would recommend that you do it in this other place." So he changed the coordinates. He messaged the group and he said, "Change the plan for the coordinates. This is where it is." And basically, like, a whole heap of people called Josh. He opened it up then to not just people called Josh Swain, to just Josh in general. So, like, hundreds of people named Josh showed up with pool noodles. You know those fucking foamy things for, like, swimming pools?
Yeah.
and they all bet the bollocks out of each other in the field.
So this wasn't actually like a proper like fist fight. This was just a foam fight.
Yeah, it was just a bunch of lads acting the bollocks, like, and I think they possibly gave money to charity for it.
They should have had a pillow fight.
Well, what they did, it was won by a 5-year-old anyway.
All right, fair enough. That seems like a nice bunch of Joshes right there. That like, first of all, they didn't just like beat the absolute bollocks out of each other, and being like several lads concussed and left for dead, and two, that they let a 5-year-old win it, like be the best Josh.
Yeah, and his name wasn't even Josh.
What?
Yeah.
Little cheating bollocks. It was a Nate. I bet it was. Yeah. It was kind of like a Nate thing to do.
So they gave him what was his prize? He got a little Burger King crown, and they like carried him around on their shoulders for ages, calling him their king.
Oh, that's nice. People who are named Josh are very, very friendly by the sounds of it. that story went in a very different direction than like I was imagining. I was imagining like 6 people showed up, one of them had a gun. That guy is now the King Josh.
they did give money to charity. What he did was he set up an online fundraiser. He called it legal fees for Josh Swain's name change, and the money actually went to a children's hospital.
Oh, because I remember a few years ago someone organised a pillow fight in the central bank or at the central bank, and
I remember that.
Yeah, and like I think people I think the Guardian nearly tried to like have it shut down.
Yeah,
because obviously people could get hurt.
Just a lot of fucking Egypts around Central Bank.
Yeah. I don't know if it had to get moved to Phoenix Park. I'm not too sure. I think it might have to get moved to Phoenix Park. Because in case someone like got knocked over by a pillow and hit their head off the ground. They're like, yeah, maybe.
Or somebody got flattened by a fucking bus.
69, yeah. Yeah, that is true. But yeah, I thought a pillow fight would have been a lot better, or a water balloon fight.
Water balloon fight would have been good.
Yeah.
Or paintball.
Yes. Then there's one person takes it too serious, brings acid and starts throwing acid. But then how would you get the acid into the water balloon? And it probably wouldn't burst.
Never going to go fucking paintball with you then.
Who's the best now?
Yeah. There's a guy talking about doing another one for maths.
Maths? I know a good math.
Yeah.
He'd be up for that. That's really interesting. Now we must get on to our idiots a week, and we only have one idiot of the week. But for people who are new to the show, it's part of the show is created for idiots, by idiots, and it's about people doing really dumb things. And maybe or maybe not, this guy's an idiot of the week because he thinks he's found a cure for hay fever. And for centuries, hundreds of years, people are probably looking for cures for hay fever with very different levels of success. And some people can get like herbal remedies that may or may not treat it. You can get like pills over the counter that can treat the symptoms of hay fever, and you can probably also, according to one podcaster, lube up your nose with Vaseline, and that might help. Probably won't help. Don't try it at home. But there's a man, I don't know where he's from now. That's the only thing, and he's claimed that nettles are the cure to hay fever. And now you might be thinking, oh, is he talking about nettle tea? Because nettle tea has like some actual benefits to it. He doesn't actually consume these nettles. What he does with the nettles is he rubs them on himself once a week.
Of course he does.
And he swears by this remedy. He said he used to get like really bad reactions to hay fever. He used to, every summer he'd be choking over the hay fever, and a few years ago, according to his wife, a crazy old man told him about nettle therapy. As soon as spring starts, he was told, as soon as the first nettle sprouts, rub it on yourself once a week, and do this for the entire length of the autumn, and you'll never, you won't suffer from hay fever. Now, the science part, which isn't actual science part, but this is according to your man, the crazy.
He's not from Ireland, is he? Because that sounds like a very fucking Irish thing to tell someone. Rub the nettles on yourself, boy, and you'll be fine.
You won't suffer from any of that fiddly diddly hay fever shite. No,
the leprechauns told me.
Apparently, according to him, the sciencey part of this, which isn't sciencey, is your immune system concentrates on the nettles and forgets about the pollen, and that's why you don't suffer from hay fever. Is kind of like, if you hurt your arm, like someone pinches you in the other arm, so you forget about the pain in your arm that's sore. That's his nettle theory about your immune. He thinks your immune system acts the same way, that if it's concentrating on one problem in your body, it's going to forget about another problem.
So if you catch AIDS, give yourself the flu kind of thing.
Yeah, if you have cancer, like break an arm, and then your immune system is going to concentrate on the broken arm, and you forget about the cancer.
You're going to be fine then.
Don't do any of this, by the way. But anyway, maybe we're the idiots, and maybe we're mocking something that we don't understand, because ever since he's done this for the past 3 years, hasn't had any pollen reactions. He hasn't suffered from hay fever at all. But like when he told his wife that he was doing this, she was like horrified. And I don't think like his wife doesn't seem like the biggest fan of this anyway.
Good. At least one of them's fucking smart.
But like surely having a lot of like rashes from nettle stings is like, it's as bad as having hay fever.
Yeah, or worse maybe.
Or possibly worse, yes. And like there's medication out there for hay fever. There's like stuff that you can squirt up your nose. There's like
just
self-isolation.
Take tablets.
Yeah. And like it's, like you can get other things. Like I think I'd rather go to the chemist than like
some random fucking
some random field and rub nettles around me. So I don't know. We can't ask our listeners to try this at home because we could probably get sued. So like we have to say don't try this at home. But if anyone goes against our advice and does try this at home, let us know. Let us know how it turns out. But like, I don't know. Imagine you'll have one problem like substituted for next. He says like I said, he said like, oh, I've never suffered with hay fever ever since, but like these horrific nettle stings have started becoming a new problem.
Just recently.
Do you ever have someone in your life that just starts doing really crazy things? You're like, how did they get away with like seeming so normal all this time?
Yeah, or how did they survive this long?
Yeah, how did they survive this long? Like, I imagine he's not a nice person to live with. I imagine his wife like, I love him, but he's a fucking mental case. Like, he's a great man, other than the fact that like he rubs nettles on himself.
Yeah, he has the fucking kids destroyed with nettles.
The kids are riddled with nettle stings, and the teachers are asking questions. They think there's a rash.
Yeah. Teachers think the kids have smallpox.
Yeah, exactly. They're bringing them to the doctor themselves.
What's going on with them?
Yeah, I don't know like the benefit. I don't remember. There's this thing called bee therapy, and it's to cure people of ticks. And apparently, what you have to do is get a load of bees and let them sting you in the scalp. It's on that. There's a program on Netflix called Unwell, and it goes through all these holistic and herbal therapies. And one is about bees, where they go to the center for like for like ticks, and they sting you in the head with bees. You have to then go back and like to give you a load of bees to bring home, and you have to sting them like multiple times in the head, and then you won't have like, you mightn't have like ticks
Are the bees or wasps?
Bees.
A bee can only sting you once.
Exactly, then it dies, and so you have to get about 5 bee stings,
That's a bit shitty.
especially on a bee. And
Yeah.
apparently, what it does is like doctors explain it, is like bee stings are actually an ancient remedy that's been around for years. And what it does is when you get bee sting or when you have any kind of like inflammation or any pain, your body releases a chemical called cortisone, and it goes to the treated area. And that's what you're getting from a bee sting. We know the reactions of bees because it's been studied for years. So that's possibly what's happening with the nettle stings, is that like it just causes your body to release cortisone into the body, and maybe that has some kind of beneficial effects of like for hay fever. However, you can get cortisone injections over the counter. Well, not over the counter. You have to get like a prescription. But you can get cortisone.
Over the counter.
You can get like cortisone injections off Shady.
Over the counter in your back alley pharmacy.
In your Shady chemist. Yeah. We'll sell you anything you really want if you sell you cortisone injections.
You can get your over the counter cortisone injections transported from fucking India.
Yeah, they're just as good, Ken. They're just less regulations. Same
They're
thing,
just
less
as good.
regulations.
They're just as good and they're a tenth of the price.
Yeah, exactly. Do you want your cortisone or not? But like the reactions that you can get, instead of stinging yourself, you can just go to your doctor and get like possibly painkillers. And I'm pretty sure that's what some doctors will suggest, is like paracetamol or some kind of painkiller to deal with the inflammation around your nose or something, to give you those fucking squirty nose things, basically release stuff into your nose to deal with inflammation in your nose, make you breathe better.
Yeah, hay fever's a bit of a cunt.
Yeah, like I said, I don't really suffer it too badly. Like, it's very manageable for me.
Like when I was a kid, I used to have it really bad. Like we used to live, like I live in a town now, but like I used to live in the middle of fucking nowhere, and there was a farm and a mushroom farm beside me. So like there was just fucking pollen every fucking where. And I used to be able to open the windows during the summer.
I just go around with like a face mask before face masks were popular.
Yeah, like I used to leave the house really during the summer. Like you'd go outside and I'd come back in like fucking looking like Elephant Man.
Well, I wonder if actually face masks would help with like pollen, or would it get through the mask?
Theoretically, it should help.
There you go. Instead of like nettle stings, face masks, which you probably right now you probably should be wearing anyway.
But he'd probably say, I can't breathe.
I think we'll leave it there. So we'll be back next week. We're 192.
Yeah. 14 away.
Holy shit, kid. Stop counting. Be back next week anyway.
Good luck.
Shut up and sit down.